Hallo zusammen, es ist wieder soweit, es ist Podcast-Zeit. Und ich habe euch versprochen, wir machen immer mal was Besonderes, immer mal was Neues. So today we are going to switch to English. I have a very special guest today from Spain, but because of my Spanish being not that good, we will keep it with English. So let's introduce today, hello Dario.
Hello, thanks for this nice introduction, Steve.
¿Qué
I'm
tal,
sure
mi
your
amigo?
Spanish is good. Yeah, muy bien, muchas gracias.
Cool, so what's your current role at NetApp? What are you doing and why are you here today?
So, well, first of all, I'm super happy to be here. I'm Dario Lopez, Cloud Solutions Architect at NetApp, being here for the last 2 years in this role, helping customers achieve their cloud journey in the focus on AWS cloud.
Cool. So as you already have been told, we are having rapid fire questions at the beginning. I didn't tell you up front, so just
I'm
start with
scared.
number one. Are you ready?
No, not really.
So question number one, what is one thing that is on your bucket list?
On my bucket list.
Yeah, things you want to do in your life or that you want to see in your life.
Funny enough,
Anything.
one of them was like free fall from a plane, like parachuting, and I did it last weekend. So I was super excited.
Okay, what's next?
Next will be, I hope I could create a company myself to collaborate with NetApp. So
cool.
That's something on my target list.
So question number one, according to your first answer, what is one thing about you that you don't mention in your CV?
There are a lot of them. No, just playing. Will be I maybe a little like too multitasking at the same time, and that's something leads to, overbook resources in mind, but I try to fight against it.
Okay, so there's no multitasking.
Yeah, I hope I could do less. Yeah.
Okay. And last question. You already made it to number 3. If your best friend had to describe you, what would be the first one that he or she would tell us about you?
Wow. I hope it's not crazy. But I hope it's kind of maybe nice to people. That's something that could describe myself.
Is das loco?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So we wanted to talk about VMware and NetApp today. And since this is part of your daily business, I would like to ask you about something that you would share from your daily business. But before we do this, there's another tradition in the podcast, which is bring a book or something that's kind of important to you from a story perspective or something like that. So what did you provide?
Yeah, I was afraid that you will also ask me that. And actually, I bring this book, which is kind of a Spanish literature classic. It's Lazarillo de Tormes, which is quite a book, anonymous book coming from the 16th centuries, based on an apprentice that is helping a blind kind of share. In that times, shirts have their own apprentice that helps them through all the day. And this is kind of proving and showing the Spanish, how to say, like ability to be or to succeed in difficult situations. Let's keep it like that. So I think it's a worth reading book. If you have some time, just give it a try.
Can I read this with a small amount of Spanish skills?
Well, I mean, maybe you prove it.
Okay, tough one. Okay, so thank you for being here today. Thank you for wearing a pretty nice shirt like Timo did in the past. So thank you very much. Okay, so what did you bring us? What do you have in store today? And what would you like to share with the world and our customers and partners?
Yeah, so, well, again, super happy to be here and have this opportunity with you, Steve. And actually, what I would like to talk today about is the integration between VMware Cloud and FSxN, FSx for NetApp ONTAP. As you might already know, it is a new offering from the FSx family in AWS that is running with ONTAP technology. So at the end, it's a full-feature version of ONTAP system with all those 30 years of experience in the on-prem world running natively as a managed service in AWS, which is huge. And now that unique offering, unique integration to break the hyperconvergency kind of limitation of the VMware Cloud solution. If you're familiar, more or less like with VMware Cloud and AWS? You think it's worth? So at the end, we have kind of several limitations, but one of the biggest is that it's an hyperconvergent solution. That means that you will have, if you would like to add more resources, you will need to add a new host, therefore adding more cost. and that hyperconvergency sometimes leads to unused or underutilized resources. That means that you will be paying more than you should be paying for, and that is something that is not well aligned with the cloud. On the cloud, we have that mandate that I want to be paying only for what I'm using and not more. So that is why where NetApp brings its powerful technology to prove and to provide the independent scalability of the storage and the compute for VMware cloud workloads.
And you provided a demo that we are going to prepare with some background magic so that we can.
I can show you. I can show you just in
magic
a minute.
Stardust.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool. So there we are.
Yeah.
Works like a charm.
Quickly, directly to the point. So at the end, the only thing we need is to deploy the FSx system. Okay. FSx, as said, is a managed service, and you see we can deploy in a few clicks, like maybe 10 clicks in AWS, and we are ready to go. It will take around 25 to 30 minutes to deploy. And as you see, we can choose different SKUs, different performance flavors. Okay, so it will be adjusted again to what you need. That's, again, cloud mandates. We want to go far from the CapEx into the OpEx model. So we will be paying only for what we use, once again. You see here, after a few clicks, we are ready to go. And the system, the FSx system with all the on-tap power is being deployed in AWS cloud.
Like after in 20 minutes, something like that.
Something like that. This was speeded up. But yeah, 25 minutes to kind of create everything that's needed on the backend to provide you the service as a full feature managed service. And here what we're doing is configuring this software-defined data center group that at the end, what allows us is to connect our software-defined data center to our VPC in AWS through this transit gateway. Okay, so therefore we can extend our resources into the AWS cloud. Here is where it comes the magic, and there we can connect to our AWS account, therefore being able to use those resources. Easy as that. When we have configured it in the VMware Cloud Console, we can come here into the AWS Resource Access Manager, and here is just that notification of that we are able to accept that new link for these added resources that we are able to work with from now. Okay. Once this is set up, everything is more easy right now. Okay, we have kind of the ability to connect this software-defined data center of VMware into the external VPC running on our AWS account. Right. The only thing that might be missing is establishing the right routes and the right security groups policies, so therefore allowing the network to work. Okay. Here is also a good point about the floating IPs. Okay, when we work with FSxN, we have what is called the floating IPs range. That are IPs that are able to be moved around availability zones, therefore giving you more availability, more resiliency in terms of, for example, if a whole availability zone of AWS fails, which is not kind of frequent, but could happen, right? So here you see how can we attach that new data store into our AWS VMware Cloud Cluster. Therefore, the only thing that is needed is adding that IP that we discover and attach our mount path. At the end, it's just like that. It's a file servers environment created. And you see here that we already have our FSx NFS data store running on the AWS FSx system instead of being attached to the vSAN. That is how we do it, right? And here also very quickly, just for you to show it, how can we do that storage vMotion for the VM to be put into the NFS data store that we just attach. Okay. Simple.
So when I started with VMware 10 years ago, it was like a pain to move storage at all between different data centers and stuff. Like now, it just as simple as that. You just kind of move it to the cloud.
To the cloud from the on-prem is huge. And at the end, imagine you could even create your almost zero footprint DR cluster in the cloud, because we can have that pilot light, warm standby, or even a less requiring cluster.
Okay, so the sad thing about the podcast is it only takes or it only works 10 minutes, and we only got 60 seconds left. So Dario, what's your key takeaway for everyone listening right now? Which should they all take into consideration now that they've heard that?
Yeah, so great question, Steve. So I will say, like, if you are concerned about the cost of the cloud, cost optimization, give it a try, and let's try to include FSxN in our VMware cloud clusters. Also, if you are interested, of course, we have a TCO calculator for understanding how will FSxN piece kind of affect your TCO estimation for the year. And of course, if you are happy with how this sounds like, get in touch with us. We are more than happy to get you walk through, get you more details. How can you get started in AWS or VMware? And if you are a NetApp user, you know that you can just snap mirror the data stores into the cloud. So easier than ever to create your DR plan.
Cool. And we are world first go to market with the solution kind of being integrated fully into the solution, right?
It's super important point that you bring it. It's a unique offering at the moment. I'm first in the class. So it's no one else that can do this at the moment. So yes, I think it's worth it for sure.
Okay. So thank you, Dario.
No problem.
Cool demo, cool shirt. Any last words?
No, yes, thanks to you. And yeah, hope to see you again.
Okay. So everyone, see you next time. Thank you very much for being my guest. And I hope you enjoyed the podcast and see you next time.